So it has a brew. Some more dry after my M&D Motor Neurone Disease Ice Bucket Challenge. Thanks to Travis Norton, the sod, for doing that. Obviously, make sure you donate by texting ICED 55 £5 to 770 just because it's for a good cause. And we kind of want to give more money to the UK arm of it as opposed to the American arm of it, which is ALS, because we are in the UK and we want to give back to our own people first and then America second. So the first thing I wanted to show you before I got any further was my Rode Reporter mic, which I picked up. I'm going to pick that up this week, maybe. Might have been a week ago, I'm not too sure. It's this bad boy here. It's really, really thin, and it's really, really quite good. The only thing that I haven't done just yet is, well, I've ordered a Tascam DR40, which is what this is going to plug into, and I've ordered also a few XLR cables as well, so I can plug this in. I also need to get a mic flag, and also need to get some graphics design for the mic flag, which I'll probably do myself because I've got some decent graphics now. So this is going to be the this is going to be the mic I'm going to take with me to CES, yes, and EGX, and probably the IP5 conference, although I probably won't need it there at all. So I just want to show you that, just to show you what I actually bought, and that's kind of why I want your donations and stuff for that. Obviously, apart from donating to MND, ideally you're donating to me as well, because I can then use that to buy equipment. Thus far, loads of people have, which is really great, via PayPal, which is paypal@azure.com, and also via the Patreon page, which I've now changed to be once a month, so every month is when you pledge X amount and it'll come out every month. So if you pledge £1, it'll be £1 a month as opposed to £1 a video, which is what it was before. Somebody recommended that I change it to per month as opposed to per video, so I've done that. So this is going to be more of a traditional Brew Time. This is going to be me talking about news, which I haven't done for bloody ages. So Microsoft's FCC filing hints at a Chromecast rival called Miracast, which is quite interesting. This is from Engadget. Now, I'm quite surprised that Microsoft haven't done this before, or at least they haven't rolled it into some kind of weird Xbox One kind of thing. I mean, if you look at the way PlayStation did their thing, they rolled out with PlayStation. You can have TVs now that can run PlayStation games using the power of the cloud. Now, I thought what Microsoft might do was create like an Xbox One, like maybe an Xbox Small or something they might call it, that would be the size of an Apple TV or the size of a dongle, like the size of a Chromecast, that would allow you to stream everything that you can usually do, like via apps, via Xbox, so Amazon apps, so the Amazon Video app, Netflix, all that kind of stuff, Xbox Live Video, and use the power of the cloud to allow you to play some games, which would be really, really cool. I'm surprised they didn't do that before, and they haven't done it just yet. But the fact that Microsoft is looking at, they filed this FCC that is going to be called Miracast is quite interesting. I mean, whether or not it'll run off of like an Xbox interface, probably. It might also run off a Windows 80 interface. It might run off a completely new interface that they've designed. Not entirely sure. Or it might not even come to fruition. It might just be one of those things that we're just going to file an FCC, see where we go in terms of R&D, and then take it nowhere. I do have a Chromecast to give away in my giveaway, because I kind of bought it and didn't have much use for it, and it was pretty cheap. You can actually pick up a Google Chromecast for about 18 quid now, which is stupidly cheap. So cheap, in fact, I'm actually thinking I might just have another giveaway just for YouTube stuff, not for, I'm not going to put it anywhere else but YouTube and just say you've got to email me. So I might do that and just give away Chromecast, because they're so cheap at the moment. They're pretty cool, but I don't really have much of a use for one, because I've got a home theater PC, I've got an Apple TV, I've got an Xbox 360 which I don't use. So is there any point? I mean, most of the stuff goes through my home theater PC and goes on onto a big projector. Well, at least it did when I used to not live with my parents. SoundCloud is now going to get ads, or at least when you play, kind of a bit like Spotify, I guess. So they're going to play ads at the beginning of music and all this other kind of stuff, which is annoying, but kind of needed, because SoundCloud has been free for bloody ages, and unless you have like a pro account, there isn't any way they really get any money from you. And the way they're going to move it, they're going to do similar to Spotify, whereby you can pay to remove the ads. Which, assuming it's really small, if it's like a couple of quid a month, then yes, I would quite happily do that, because I use SoundCloud quite a bit for mostly indie stuff, like when you get, and I mean a proper indie stuff, not this BS indie stuff we get now from like, what was it, like the Kooks or whatever, I don't know. You get these indie bands that aren't really indie bands, they're not self-titled, they're not self-labelled, they're just they are they're tied to a record label, and they're kind of traditionally they're just a genre of indie. They're not really proper indie. So like all sorts of, I'm just trying to think of anybody that I even listen to now, but a lot of the electronic drum bass. Dubstep, that kind of stuff, that does a lot of independent stuff. Lots of independent artists, likes of George Watsky, although he does a lot of stuff via Bandcamp now and then charges people for it because, fair enough, he's got big enough where he can do that. So yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting, and I mean, what would be really great is if SoundCloud did a kind of a Spotify kind of sharing thing where you upload stuff and you get a bit of a revenue share from it. I don't know, it kind of depends, because I guess the whole point is that it's kind of a service for musicians to upload this stuff, so I'm not too sure whether or not SoundCloud would do that, but that would be quite cool. I'd quite like to see that, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it's going to not do them any favours, but they need to make money. They need to make money somehow. It's the same with Spotify. Spotify sort of, I pay for Spotify, and I think it's worthwhile paying for, because you get pretty much unlimited music. Well, you do get unlimited music, but I mean, there's some music that isn't there. But you can import your own, and it's kind of like, I just don't like physical media anymore and having it on my PC and having to sync it across via iTunes or some other medium, and it's just a pain. Whereas, like, and if I've got Spotify, I can just play any bit of music that I hear on the radio, and I can just play it instantly without having to download it and buy it and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, it's kind of quite good that lots of like Amazon Music is now cloud-based, and Apple's music service is all cloud-based now. So once you buy it, you've got it there forever, which is good. Now, one thing I saw on Twitter, I don't know when it was, a couple of days ago, somebody tweeted about it from Science Daily, which is that solar energy doesn't have to block your view. It's a really interesting article anyway. But a team of researchers at Michigan State University have developed a new type of solar concentrator that, when placed over a window, creates solar energy while allowing people to actually see through the windows. It's called a transparent luminescent solar concentrator and can be used on buildings, cell phones, and any other devices that have a clear surface. Now, this will be really cool for cell phones and tablets and things like that. I mean, it's obviously not going to be able to power it, but what it's going to be able to do is it's going to be able to allow you to have extra juice if you're out and about. So if you're walking around town and you've got your phone out and you're trying to find map directions, it's going to charge your battery a little bit so that the battery's going to last longer. It's obviously not going to be able to charge it from scratch all the way up. I mean, maybe it might do if you just turned it off and left it. Perhaps that might be quite cool if you had, like, it was a solar panel as well, so you could have it as a solar panel or as a screen, so that would be quite good. So if you could just, like, if you're out in the wild somewhere, you don't have to then get like a dedicated portable battery pack that's got solar charging on it. It's really quite cool, and it also means that all these big office buildings we've got that capture sun all day, we're not just using it for us to be able to see a pretty view, we're also using it to capture solar energy. We've also got loads of free space we can put solar panels, as opposed to farmland, which this is what they want to do in the UK at the moment, and because farmers get quite a big subsidy for it, they do try and use their land for solar power as opposed to crops, because they get more money from it. And when we've got other places that could quite easily have solar panels on it, like houses and stuff, that's where we need people putting solar panels, and we don't. Also roads, which is really quite cool. There's really, really cool stuff to do with solar roadways, which is absolutely fantastic. Not too sure where they've got with it just yet, but that would be really cool if that actually does eventually get rolled out, especially in the UK. This has been going on for quite a while. US regulators have said that a monkey selfie is public domain because basically a monkey cannot take a picture, or at least cannot copyright a picture. So British nature photographer David Slater is battling the Wikipedia Foundation, the organisation behind Wikipedia obviously, over its refusal to remove an image of a crested black macaque that he claims to own. And Wikipedia argues the image isn't subject to copyright law because a monkey took it and not the creator. Now, under British intellectual property law, it allows the photographers to copyright a photograph even if they did not press the shutter, but the photographer must prove it was their intellectual creation, so that Slater would have to prove he meant the monkey to take the picture in the first place for it to count in court law. But that's never actually been tried in law. And the US Copyright Office has agreed with Wikipedia that the photograph taken by a monkey cannot be copyrighted. David Slater's argument is that basically he set up the camera, he gave the camera to the monkey, and the monkey just took a load of photos, and that one was the best one. It's a bit of a contentious sort of thing. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't see it as a major issue. I guess him as an artist and him being a photographer, it's kind of intellectually proprietary to him because he was the one that kind of allowed it to happen, because if he wasn't there it would never have happened, but equally he didn't take the picture, so it's like, well, it's difficult. It's obviously his idea, but it's not necessarily the copyright. He doesn't copyright the image. I don't quite know. I mean, really, I don't see the big problem with it. I mean, obviously, as long as they credit the photographer, I don't see it as a big problem. As long as they say David Slater took the photo, then I don't see it as a problem at all. I mean, I create videos and I create imagery and stuff like that, and I don't have a problem with anybody using my stuff at all, as long as it's for free purposes and they're not going to use it for any commercially. They're not going to put it on TV and not ask for my permission first. But everything else, I don't actually put it in under Creative Commons, because I kind of don't want people to use it for the purposes of media and then to make money off of it. That's not kind of the point. What I'd much rather people do is, they can parody stuff, and that's kind of the whole point. And in UK law, you can do that. You can quite happily do that, as long as it's not still images. Still images are really contentious in the UK. Still images, you cannot use still images for anything without the prior permission from the person that owns the image. But in US law and EU law, you kind of can for critique and news reporting. And in the UK, video is really easy to use. You can use video for the purposes of critique, news reporting, satire, and parody, and all that other kind of stuff for free without attribution. But most places, so if you have like BBC News, for instance, that uses some Sky News footage, generally they have some sort of agreement in place, and generally they will pay money, and generally they'll probably usually put where it's come from, because it's kind of like a goodwill thing. Not to mention the fact that most, like if you're a BBC News and you grabbed a Sky News feed, it usually has Sky News written in there anyway, so you kind of can't really get away with not sort of saying courtesy of. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So obviously, check out the competition, because that's still going. You've still got like kind of less than a week to go now. You can check that out by going to ashleychill.com/giveaway or ashleychill.com/competition. And there's a few other links that are kicking around as well. Obviously, donate PayPal at ashleychill.com, which allows me to buy equipment. I'm really looking. Well, ideally, my ideal sum would be about £300. That's kind of the money I'm looking for. I've bought a Tascam DR40. I've bought a Rode Reporter mic. I've bought a decent tripod now, so I've got a proper broadcast quality tripod. I'm just still waiting to get a decent laptop. I'm holding out for a minute. I'm wanting to get the Gigabyte P15F, because that is pretty damn good, but I'm holding out for a minute because I'm hoping that it comes down in price. Unless any of you got any other suggestions for about 700 to 800 quid for a decent laptop that will allow me to do video editing. Gaming is a secondary thing. Does gaming great, but that's not really what I want it for. What I want it for is so I can video edit on the go, and so that I can render on the go as well, because my MacBook Air is a piece of shit for that, because it's got a Core i5 and it's not really got any dedicated graphics, and it's not got very much RAM either, and it's quite expensive for what it is. And also I've obviously got my EOS M, and I've got my 600D, and I've also got a battery grip for it as well, so I'm pretty much good to go. I've even got cameramans, which is really, really great. I've got spare batteries. I've got everything I need to go. I just could do with the laptop, and that's pretty much it. So I have got the stuff, but because I've actually spent quite a bit on that stuff, I kind of now need some money to actually get over there, and your support will be really, really appreciated. I'll probably, when I file my tax return within the new year, I will publicly create a spreadsheet that'll be on Google Docs to actually show you how much money I get in from things. Well, how much money I get in, because I can't specifically, because of Google's stupid laws and YouTube's stupid laws and terms and conditions, I can't specifically tell you how much I get per month from AdSense. So I'm going to have to basically put in an income which includes AdSense and donations, everything like that. And then what I'll do is I'll show you how much I spend on equipment over the course of the year, so that it's all transparent, so you know what I'm spending my money on. I'm not just spending on hookers and gin and stuff like that. So I just need to get some t-shirts sorted out, maybe sort of. I might just wear things like this, which is really cool, which is my IT Crowd shirt, which is a QWERTY special. I'm not too sure, because it's kind of coming up quite close to the bat now to get t-shirts designed and printed and stuff like that. So I might just hold out, and I might just wear something like an Enigma tee or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you missed it, you can catch my ILS/MND Ice Bucket Challenge up there. It wasn't a great video, but I kind of was morally obliged to do it, so I did it. Obviously, hit me up on Twitter at AsYouChill. Send me an email, aaron@asyouchill.com. Donate by donate via PayPal by using the email paypal@asyouchill.com. Enter the competition asyouchill.com/giveaway. And apart from that, I shall catch you in a later video. do with ALS and motor neuron